You're freezing.
Outside, it's the summer. Am I freezing? Fix your Wi-Fi, motherfucker. I never freeze. They call me Shaq D's. You can find me. You can find me in the grocery store next to bologna and cheese.
Talk to him.
What's up, boy?
Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu. How are you, man?
I'm a big fan of yours. That battle you had with my cousin, that was epic. That was epic.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. It was epic.
I'm the biggest Shaq fan ever, man. I mean, I just want to say thanks so much coming on, man. This means the world to me, the absolute world, man. Thank you.
Where you from? Canada?
Yeah, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Where's that at?
That's like east.
Vancouver or Toronto?
Vancouver's west, so I'm like we're east.
Okay, cool.
All right, man. Other side. Yeah, man. I only did that battle because of you, because you made that tweet.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because you made a tweet and said, Pat Stay don't want no problems with my cousin Suge. So I said I set it up that day.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I inspired you. Look, I'm actually a fan of all you guys because, you know, we all come from the same place, sports, rap, and I actually like what you guys do. But I watched that battle twice. That battle was epic. It was awesome.
Thank you, man.
But I tell you what, if your ass would have wore a flower suit to come battle me, I would have told you. Flower suit? Oh, hell no.
Yo, you think Shaq Fu will ever come out, man? Ever come out the gates and battle?
No, never. But you know about you guys? You guys are similar to us NBA players. Imagine James Harden talking back with Russell Westbrook. It's only during the battle, but after that, you guys are friends. Like, I like how you guys could push each other, dunk on each other, get really personal, and then after it's all over, shake hands. So, you know, much respect for that. You know, I see some battles get out of line with people, but, you know, that stuff that you and Suge were saying to each other, and then for y'all to laugh and have a good time, much respect to both of you guys.
Thank you. You're 100% right. Like, for the most part, it's all love. You know, when you're that competitive and that high, like, level of something, you have to respect each other. Like, you know, when two people are fighting UFC, even if they're beating the crap out of each other, you got to respect it because you're putting so much on the line, like on the court. Like, bro, like your whole heart and adrenaline and passion is into this. Like, even if this is your arch enemy, whatever, you have to respect what he's doing because you know what goes into it. You know what I mean?
So what's your next battle?
I'm battling, I really don't know because it's quarantine shit, but I'm battling a dude named K-Shine next. Shouts to K-Shine, man. Really good guy.
Right. So my top five are, I got to put my two
Cut note. Oh, no. Choppy. Oh, no. He'll come back in. Hopefully he'll come back in. Someone called him. That's what happened. Someone called him. There he is. I got to hear his top. I got to hear his top 5. Or top 10. Or whatever he has. You know, Shaq's a rapper.
If you don't fix that cheap-ass Wi-Fi at your house, Pat, what the hell you doing, man? All right, my top 5, I got to put my 2 family members in it. Jersey all day. Arsenal, Shotgun Suge. I'm bringing you at the small forward, and I'm bringing Charlie Clips at the 4, and 5 Loaded Lux. No disrespect to anybody else, but that's my top 5 right now.
Man, that's a really good top 5. I appreciate that. Who's your top 5 rappers of all time? Hip hop, period.
I don't want to go there because a lot of these guys are my friends.
Right.
So what I always do is I break it down to eras. In my era, so actually before my era, listen, Big Daddy, LL, Will Smith, Fat Boys, during my era, Jigga Man, Master P, Puffy, Pac, Biggie, Eminem, and now these young cats are like Da Baby, I like Little Baby, like a kid here from Orlando, Tyler Yahweh, he's really dope. Your main man out there in Vancouver, Mercules is tearing it down. My homeboy in Orlando, best believe, Corey Guns, Peter Guns. I don't like to say who my top five is because I don't want to hurt nobody.
Yeah, I just had Corey Guns on here the other day, and he was talking about you, man. He's like, "Yo, Shaq's the man." He said, "You still DJ and shit."
Yeah, I do a couple stuff here and there. My biggest crowd is 100,000, Lollapalooza, and
That's crazy.
then I did one at Lost Lands that was about 200,000. I do hip hop and dubstep, so
That's dope, man.
because
That's dope.
I've been DJing since '88, so it's fun for me. It's sort of like what you guys do. It's all about making the crowd go crazy. That's what it's all about for me.
Yeah. No, I can't tell you how much I respect how much you give back. Like even you being on here and shouting out certain artists, like
And
that type of stuff.
here he is right here. Come holler at him.
That,
My son was like, "Yo, boy, that white boy from Canada, he cold."
Yeah, we watched you with the flower suit on. That was fine.
I told you, dog. I said, hell no. You'd rather have a flower suit on?
Hey, man. Somebody Joe Budden says it best. It says, "Why try to fit in when you're a standout?" So I said, "You know what, man? I'm going to stand out tonight."
Say that.
Joe Budden, he says, "Why try to fit in when you're a standout?" You hear me? Man,
why try to fit in when you're a standout? You didn't make that up. I just made that.
No, that's Joe Budden.
Yeah.
Wow. How does Shaquille O'Neal got bad Wi-Fi? Wow, man.
No, that's you. That's your Wi-Fi. Where you at right now? Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. That's my favorite part.
That's a fire part, man. That part's slapping.
All right, brother. I will holler at
Listen,
you
man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man. Like I said, it means the world. Shaq Food, Shaq Attack, Shaq Diesel. Biggest fan ever. Much love, man.
All right. Love you, bro.
All right, brother.
All right, go.
Man, late too. Right. Damn, man. Shaq just came on my IG. I thought I hit a pinnacle the last couple of days. Like, yeah, I got, Royce the 5'9" and Method Man. And those, I'm not saying anyone's lower because you know what? I looked up to Method Man. I look up to all these guys. You know what I'm saying? I hate having to defend myself. Man, look, I feel blessed. I hope anyone watching my IGs lately just find some sort of entertainment from it. I don't want to ever give off the fucking the impression like, oh, I'm cool in quarantine. You guys are depressed. You guys should shake it off. All I want to do is provide entertainment, and make people happy, man. Make people smile and get people through their days. You know what I mean? There's my brother Pete, man. You know what I mean? One of my biggest idols, man, growing up. So, you know what I mean? Probably one of the reasons why I love Shaq so much. You know what I mean? Love you guys, man. Much love. Shaq Fu. That's crazy, man. What a cool guy. I didn't know how to ask him. He was messaging me the other night, sending me video. Thank you, Mercules. He was messaging me the other night, sending me videos of him watching my battle, and I was like, oh, I want to post this, but I didn't do it just for privacy. And I also didn't want to ask him like, oh, will you come on my live right away? Because I was like, man, I respect people's privacy, but I just owed it on a whim tonight. I have Jin coming on any minute, I have Jen coming on at 10:20.
Just get on your knees and start struggling. These motherfucking nuts in your mouth. It's me, Jerry G, the nigga with the club.
That was an accident. But yeah, it just happened on the spur of the moment, man. It's super dope. Somehow I still got 500 people watching. Shaq's fans must be like, this guy looks something cool. I like this guy. I'm going to follow him. You should follow me. Tell you why. My Mizan. I hope someone screen recorded this. Tell me somebody did. Get Merc on. That's my dog, man. I just had an interview with him the other night. He's one of my great friends, man. Love Merc. When I got Eminem coming on, well, you know, guys, just had Shaq on, so thinking getting Pac on next, pal. Jay-Z, Nas, they've been calling. You know, I've told them I'll pencil them in. Okay, Jen is here. Woo! Yo, Jen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign in and sign right back off, okay? Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come on, come right back off. So sign right back in, all right? Actually, you know what? I just don't know. Somebody saved that? We're good? Yeah, I'll bring you on right now. Fuck it.
Let me cook. Let me cook. You were supposed to have me on at 9. What's up with that? You gonna do some sideways-ish, like bump me for Shaq? I can't believe I accepted this damn interview. Why you wearing that ugly-ass hat? And that suit looked like it need to be stuck on somewhere in the rack. You not so fire. Yeah, I said it. You not so fire. I feel like I'm talking to a walking, breathing hot dog off of Oscar Myers. No. See, these youngins might not know. These youngins might not know how I get down off the tizzy. But you inviting me, that means that you know the history and you a student of the culture. Either that or dumbfounded was busy. But yeah, all jokes aside, it's nothing but respect. You're an amazing person. That's facts, eh? In fact, if I was still battling, they probably call me the Asian version of Pat Stay. Hey. On that note.
Yes. Hey, listen. Woo! What a great night.
Let's see. You owe me a birthday present. You owe me a Christmas card. You owe me a gift on Hanukkah. You owe me something on Kwanzaa. Definitely Chinese New Year's. Honestly, I think there's probably only, if we're talking NBA players, there's probably only 3 that I would have been cool with getting bumped by. One was Shaq, right? So when you said, yo, I got Shaq about to log on, I'm like, all right, cool. The second one, of course, in my opinion, the GOAT, MJ, 23, right? That's what I got. And the third one, greatest point guard of all time, Jeremy Lin. So, yeah. So, as long as whoever I was getting bumped by was one of those 3 guys, I'm cool with it, man. But shout out to Shaq though. I was watching, man. How Shaq? How'd you get Shaq on, man? That was dope.
I just call him Shaq. You know? No, just amazing, man.
We gotta start a GoFundMe for Shaq so he can get some 5G at the crib.
For real, man. Holy mo, that boy was lagging. Hey, he was buffering the whole time.
Yeah, nah. You know what caught me off guard? He was like, "Pat Stay, I'm a huge fan. Where you from? Canada, right?" Yo, Pat Stay's face is Canada. Anyway, we go. It's late. Shaq is probably tired. You know, he's doing all type of crazy activities. So we'll omit that question. I'm a huge fan, Pat Stay. Where you from? Canada? Come on. Where you from? Asking Pat Stay where he from?
Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, Tantrum.
See, I don't know. I don't know who are the you know, you got a couple heads in here. I don't know what age range these kids are. So, you know, I see the amusing aspect of doing this interview as Tantrum. I don't know if they would latch on to that. Shout out to Tantrum. Shout out
Oh
to Dumbfounded. Shout out
yeah.
to, you know, all the, you know, if we're talking about the Asian Mount Rushmore of battle rap, I mean, there you go. That's definitely two faces that go on there. And of course, you know, I don't ever want to be that guy that's like, yo, I'm on the Mount Rushmore. But if there was an Asian Mount Rushmore, like somewhere on the side of the actual Mount Rushmore, you know, your boy might get an honorable mention. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Bro, that upsets me to even like that kills my mood to even say an Asian Mount Rushmore, bro.
Oh,
You
nah, you know, I say that.
okay? Okay. I
I say
was
it.
like, come on, man. You were a pioneer in this shit, bro. Sharon said, have you seen Sharon freestyle by any chance?
Of course, I'm familiar with Sharon's work. I'm familiar with his pedigree, and then on top of that, like as recent as last year, I was able to connect with him when we was filming for Wildin' Out. So I did like 2 seasons of Wildin' Out, and yeah, I mean, me and him was definitely, you know, back and forth in terms of just, you know, picking each other's brains. And yeah, he gave me my flowers. And I'm humbled as always, you know what I mean? And he's a good dude, man.
Oh yeah, no, like yeah, you're the reason he freestyles. You know, you're the reason why a lot of people battle rap and you know jumped out of their comfort zone or like you know what I mean. You're probably the reason why just a lot of shit, man. And I'm really proud, but I'm so honored to meet you, and I mean that. And I like to you know thank you so much for coming on.
No doubt, man.
You've done so much for the culture, man. Like I've always been a big fan. Like anyone like back in the day watching 106 in Park, when you come on, it's like man, it's like was I wrong in my title 7 times? Did you win more than 7 times?
No, it was 7. So at the time, this was early on. So prior to me, there was actually another contestant that I guess made the run and got retired. That's what they would call it, right? On the Freestyle Friday platform, and that was Poster Boy. So Poster Boy was the first person to really like set that bench. I don't know if they had 7 as the number already when he started, or if he just kept winning, right? So he won again and again, and then on his 7th week is when they were like, all right, we putting him in the Hall of Fame, so to speak. So he set that mark, I guess, and then I was the one following him. I didn't battle him, meaning like when I came on, it was already another reigning champion. But here's like a little fun fact is that when I came on, I was the challenger, and the guy that was the champion, he was going for his 7th. So that's kind of another little, you know, interesting footnote in the overall story. So I'm coming on as the challenger. The champion is already like 6-time winning. So of course the audience, both in the studio and at home, they're familiar with him already. And, you know, I think everyone had the idea that, you know, this week 7 for him, this is almost like a giveaway, especially when they saw me coming out, right? Like, yo, this is how he's going to breeze into the Hall of Fame. And that, to be honest, was even more fire for me because I knew like, man, because I don't know if you remember the old vintage format of it. It was only a 1-rounder and it was only 30 seconds.
Yes.
And if we do the math, right? And if we do, you know, if we're like scientists about this, this is not a cappella, by the way. This is on beat, right? So if we do the math scientifically, as soon as the beat drops, if you jump on that one beat, meaning as soon as the DJ drops it and you go into your first setup right there, you're able to get like 12 bars off. You're able to get a solid setup, punch, and you could get 12 off. So in my mind, like I gotta say, I was that meticulous about it. I was like, I only have 30 seconds. I have no rebuttals, which is why I feel like that first week was kind of the real hurdle. But, you know, not to say the following weeks didn't present their own challenges, but that first week I knew like whatever I say, it had to be so like potent that if he ends up winning, I have nothing to say. You know what I mean? I could just be like, about. But here's the thing. Sometimes the stars align and this is how it unfolds. When it was his turn, it was almost like he didn't even allow it to be a debatable. He didn't even allow it to go to the judges. Because he stopped like halfway. Like, you know, like 12, 13 seconds left, he just and I say this, man, with a lot of admiration and respect for him. So you know, his name is Hassan, and actually following that, me and him used to again. But it just goes to show you, man, these little moments that can alter the course of all of our lives, you know. So it was crazy. Yeah.
Because then you go on to being with Rough Riders.
Yeah, so from there, I mean, the abridged version of it is, so I win that week as the challenger. So then the following week, I become the champ. And then, you know, every Friday, a new guy comes to dethrone me. And then by the time I win my 7th, the crazy thing is, and I've shared this in interviews too, but it never gets repetitive to me, at least. By like week 4, so by like week 4 or 5, I kind of already had locked in with Rough Riders already. So it was the game plan, you know, and I give them a lot of credit for having that type of belief. They were like, so our vision is after you go all the way and win 7, you just announce that you signed with us, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, if you believe in it like that, then let's rock it out like that, you know? Yeah.
I remember it, bro. I remember it. I was like, that was like.
How old are you? How old are you, Pat?
I'm 34.
Okay, yeah, we're not that far off. So at the time, I was like 19. I was like 20. I was 20. So you were probably 17, like high school, right? 17, 18, I would think, roughly, something. Sharon was like 9 or 8, probably.
Now, he was an embryo.
He was an embryo, yeah. That kid probably had rebuttals as an embryo. So,
Yeah.
he was the only embryo with rebuttals in the maternity ward. He was rebuttaling the nurse.
Yeah.
When the nurse was checking if his mom was dilated or not. he had a 4-bar scheme for that, probably. Anyways. But yeah, man, time flies. Yo, so let me kind of reciprocate, you know, that sentiment back to you. Salute. Congratulations on, I mean, obviously on this. I know that in the past week or so, past 2 weeks, you've really been pouring into your social media, and specifically with this platform right here. But beyond this, man, yo, you by no means are you new on the scene. You go as far back as the early King of the Dot. I mean, I've seen it. I watched it. I'm talking before there was venues, right? Like before there was pay-per-views. So I definitely have seen that evolution. But the crazy thing about in your case is, you know, some people's evolution, they might start at like, let's say 100, right? Is full tilt. Some people start at 20 and then they evolve into 100 or 150. But if you ask me honestly, you know, just to give you your flowers, I think even my first recollection of you, if 100 is full tilt, in the earlier stages, I felt you was already like 65, 70. But then as the years went by, now you're just at like 300. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? Like meaning,
I totally do.
You get what I'm saying? Even in your early stages, it wasn't like, yo, he has a lot to work on in this area, or he has a lot to work on in this area. It was already like, you see the blueprint for what you became now, which is, man, a beast. You know what I mean? Definitely.
It means a lot. I seen in the interview you said that you enjoy watching me, and to me, like, that was huge to me. You know, I posted it. I was like, man, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. I know I do, man. I'm not one, like a lot of battle rappers, and for some reason they think like they're above everyone, or they're just like, it's too cool to whatever. Where I'm like, man, it's like heartwarming to get props from you, to any of my peers, or any people that I looked up to, and you know what I mean. And so thank you. I appreciate that very much.
To add on to that statement, that notion that you just shared, I definitely think that there's been evolution even in that regard. Meaning, yeah, you're right. 10 years back, 15 years back, there definitely was this sentiment where it's like, yo, even if I know he's nice as hell, I can't exude that vibe to him, right? Because God forbid one day we have to battle, he might flip that on me, right? So I'm saying like, I think that as the years went by, I mean, for sure now is more of a like you and Shaq was talking about, right? Like Shaq was saying, if we use a basketball analogy, you know, when Westbrook and Harden or James and whoever are on the court, it's like I'm gonna rip your throat out. But outside of that, it's like, you know what I mean? But I think the other thing is it also boils down to just personality types. Like even within the battle culture realm and the guys that are currently active, right? Because that's the thing I'm very conscious of. You know what I mean? I've spoken to, if you name someone off the top of your head, I probably have crossed paths and interacted with them. I'm talking about that are within the battle realm right now.
Yeah.
And I've had multiple conversations with them. And of course, the reoccurring question they have for me is always just, yo, when you getting back in? And, you know, like, and they might have this hunch that I'm somewhat detached from it. And I always tell them, I'm detached in the sense of being in the pit for sure. But if you're talking about detached in terms of not knowing what it's evolved and become, oh, then you're definitely inaccurate there. I'm very aware. And that's exactly the reason why I haven't jumped in the ring, because I'm so conscious of how much it's grown and evolved. And I'm not talking about like the pay-per-views and all of that. I'm talking about just the simple art of it. You know what I mean? Like all of anything you could mention about what is part of battling right now, I would say I'm pretty well versed on and I'm pretty like keen on, like, you know, if you talk about like angling and projection and pacing, like I know it's really different. Like it's different from 5 years ago. It's definitely even different from 10 years ago, right? And so, you know, because the thing is, I don't know, I chatted with Sharon about this. I've chatted with Clips about it. I've chatted with all these guys about it, right? Because it's just a natural topic that we can.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a natural topic. But even the main thing we always talk about is that, you know, obviously now it's more acapella, you know, acapella based, right? I know they have leagues that are actually the dudes be on stage with the Janet Jackson headphones.
Yeah.
And they
be, and it's dope.
And it's fire. So I know that that's there. But for the most part, if you talk about like whether it's URL, RBE, KOTD, like it's still rooted in acapella. And then the other thing is also that for sure, I think the biggest shift from when I was still active and right now is maybe back then, you know, it was like the emphasis was, yo, we going off the top right now. But everybody had their ratings that they would pull out here and there. Yeah. And I think that's the complete 180 switch, which is right now, it's actually, yo, I'm battling Pat 3 months from now. Shoot, I'm going to write the most impeccable, fire, flawless 3, 4, 5 rounds. And then when I go there on the spot, I'm going to have that. But in between, in front, behind, I might also weave in and out some rebuttals and some off the tops, right? So I'm totally aware of that. And I think even if, I don't know if you were going to ask it or not, but I'll dive into it right now. I mean, I remember vividly talking with Clips about it in the car, in the Uber, is that I know if I were to step in, if, when, and where that were to happen, it would be a pretty intense uphill battle in terms of conditioning as far as getting that pen game right for it. Like for me, I'm not that, like, I'll tell you what I feel good about. I'm not worried about the performance aspect. I'm not worried about
oh, sorry, but I didn't mean to swear.
No. So I'm not worried about all of that. Like, in fact, all of that stuff I love. And I feel like, yo, if anything, I'm probably sharper now than I was 10 years ago with that. You know, because all of that is just, is acting, is, you know, your expressions, it's your timing, knowing when to let the bar breathe, you know, and it's intertwined with comedy too, which is what I got into in the last 2-3 years, doing stand-up. So all of that is not what I'm worried about. But the main thing at the end of the day is those bars. Not to be cliche, is that pen, is the angles, is all of that, right? And I know, you know, this is even an ongoing topic within the culture and the community. Is like when you have like performance versus content, right? Performance versus pen, and then of course all of the GOATs are referred to as GOATs because they cover all these bases. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when you watch a URL battle and you hear Beasley's voice at the beginning, Arsenal specialties, you know what I mean? When he's like, performance, wittiness, aggressiveness, disrespect. You know, like, so for me, I'm saying that to you and to everyone that is even somewhat curious about where Jin stands on all of this. That's it. It's just the more aware I am of what would be required to get into that state of mind to battle, is more the reason why I haven't. You know what I mean? Because if it was just for the bag, man, I would have been on 5 cards already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that it would have been good. It might have been, you know, pun intended, it might have been disastrous, right? But I would have been on this card, I would have been on that card, you know what I mean? But to me, I think that's the main thing. Like, I love this quote, and I'm gonna throw the ball back to you. It's a quote that I said one time in an interview, and it's just stuck with me. Which is, some people wonder, yo, Jim, do you feel like you don't battle because you outgrew it, right? Like, you know, you went and did your acting, and, you know, we know you've kind of explored all these other things. Do you feel like you've outgrown battling, and that's what is holding you back? I say, on the contrary, I feel like in some way it's outgrown me. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is 2 very different things. Like, I didn't outgrow it. It outgrew me. It's become this amazing, I love it now more than ever. As a fan, though, that's the thing. Before, it was like, maybe because I'm so engaged in it myself, I couldn't really just watch as a fan. You know what I mean? Even when I used to go and watch battles, whether it was 106, Fight Club, Scribble Jam, Smack, whatever, right? I'm watching it as someone who, like, even though I'm a fan, but in my mind, I'm still like, okay, I might battle that guy. I might battle that guy. How would I rebuttal this? You know, what's a scheme that I could use on him, or an angle that, you know what I mean? We didn't use the word angles then, right? But I might be like, okay, I know this little tidbit about him that I could put in. But now, when I'm watching freaking Geechee Gotti versus A-Ward or whoever, right? I don't need to, I'm just purely like, oh my gosh, did you hear what he just said? And oh my, you know? So
It's so next level now. It's like, it's so advanced, but like, dude, like someone like you, and I wouldn't just say this, man, like I would say this to you in a cab, fucking by ourselves, or fucking on the street throwing apples at people. Not, it doesn't matter that we're live or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You're a star. So you got it. You can name all the top guys. Name them. Like name the actual GOATs, not people's favorite, like, you know, of all time type of shit, like, you know, Hollows, and, you know, what Mook, Lux, who else?
Yeah.
You know, all these guys, Charlie Clip, you know, that everyone names and stuff like that. You know, you get your Pat Stay, you know, but, you know, you got all these guys.
You in the mix, yeah.
But, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying these guys don't have biases, they do, but they have a star power. They have an aura. They have a performance. They have when they walk in the room, you know who the fuck they are. So, excuse my language. I don't mean to swear so much.
Oh, no, cool.
Okay, cool.
As long as you don't curse in Chinese, we good. I'm bugging.
Now, these guys, like, you know, these guys, you know, there's a difference, like, so, and you have that, like, bro. I don't think you would have any problem whatsoever. I think that you would actually smash it because you have that aura. You have, of course, I mean, bro, you're one of those guys. You're one of the key people that everyone has to name from legendary people. Bro, you're Jin. You're Jin. Bro,
I appreciate it, man.
Bro, you are Jin. So, like, bro, you will be totally fine. You've been running this stuff. You know what I mean? You came back in. You're not. Okay, I don't want to put people down, but
No. You know, okay. Before you get into that, I receive everything you just said. I would just add on to your sentiment with, there's definitely ring rust, right? And not just ring rust, but there's definitely I would say it's uncharted territory for me. Like, I mean, me and you are basically saying the same thing. I get what you're saying. That at its essence and at its core, you're Jin, and that's already like that's there. Like, there's nothing, like, that's kind of like, it's got a force field around that you can't. So I get that. But we can also agree that only means so much when I step on that ring. When I'm standing in. Did it back then? Did it back then? You know, when you were winning so much back then? Did it when you weren't Jin back then? When you were. No. But I meant, what I meant by that is the skill set aspect of it is what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, and I think for me, it goes back to that. Oh, by the way, I'm not saying I'm with NWX, by the way. So I was just trying to say the X Factor, and I'm not talking about the one from the Midwest either. I just meant the X Factor in this situation. He's a dude. He knows. The X Factor in my situation is that nobody has seen me in this current realm yet. So there is that You could call it the surprise factor, right? There is the what would he bring to the table, and what I mean by that is, even for me, it's that, like, because I haven't taken that leap yet off the edge, right? Like I haven't committed and said, yo, you know what, I'm gonna do like when Hollow and Lux, right? They had a 2-on-2, and then wasn't part of their whole regiment. They went up to the mountains and they were like shadow boxing, and that was an amazing 2-on-2, by the way. I forgot who they battled, like Chess, and it was Lux and Hollow versus Chess and Tay Rock maybe, or something like that. But my point is, I always use this analogy. Like I would literally have to, or maybe not literal, but I would have to do something in the vein of go up to the mountain somewhere for like 6 months and leave my family, give my wife a kiss on the forehead, tell my son, my older son, yo, watch your little brother, the baby, the baby will probably be, walking and talking by the time I come back already. I might come back with 20 rounds. I don't know 20 rounds for who, but I would literally have to go into some like secret dungeon to get into that. And I only say that because, yo, I think maybe you still underestimate how many battles I've watched. I've watched a lot of your battles, a lot of everybody's battles. And I'm just so amazed by it. That's all. That's my main point. Like, I'm so amazed by it. And I'm so just, man, so like aware of what it is now that I know it's uncharted territory for me. That's all I'm saying. And I'd have to really push myself to go to that place. It's dope though. Like I love it,
If you ever want to do a 2-on-2, we'll keep it on the low.
What would even make sense? Me and you versus who though? See, I'll entertain this. I'll entertain like hypothetical, what would even be entertaining, or what would be like people would be like, oh, that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure, but to bring it back, if you were to come back, I wouldn't suggest going against a Disaster for 2 reasons, right? Not because he's so great and whatever, because he is. I actually believe he's the GOAT. But
yes.
I'm trying to remember his name right now, and it's not disrespect. He's Jewish guy. He came back and battled Disaster recently.
Uno Labos?
No, Jewish guy.
I was just kidding. Yeah, I don't, and I think of, and I only say Uno Labos because I do remember at one point, like, yo, I was watching every one of his battles just because you talk about, someone doing something unorthodox that's, it's unorthodox, and in some cases is even choppy and sloppy. But for some reason, at that time, the Uno Labos era that I'm thinking of, he was like, he was gunning in his weird way. You get what I'm saying? That's why I thought of Mr. Labos.
But no, Soul Khan.
Oh, okay.
Soul Khan came back and battled Disaster last year, right?
I watched it.
And it was sad because for 2 reasons. The first reason, because I did the 2 reasons last time. I think the one thing was Soul Khan is in a better place now. He's more positive. He barely swears now. He barely talks about anything, controversial. He's in a better place. That's why I like to call him, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't say bitch. He doesn't say anything, right? So he goes against Disaster. Like, you got to be when you battle Disaster, you have to know what kind of a cloud you're in at that point. Like, you are a complete target, and he is going to say the most messed up shit in the entire world that while it's happening, it's going to throw you off because you're like, oh my God, my fan base is going to hear all this crazy, political, ridiculous, negative shit. And then it was sad to watch because he wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean?
You know what, Pat? Let me say something, man. I'm not like refuting what you're saying, but quiet as kept, I think that Soul Khan was more aware before the battle, during the battle, and even after the battle. He was more aware of what was unfolding and happening, or what would happen, than I think a lot of us realize or are giving him credit for. Like, not me, but I mean maybe in the general sense. Like, you could say, yo, it was like sad to watch, and I know what you mean in terms of in the context of in the battle, right? But I think as I listen to his rounds and as I watch it, yes, maybe like you can kind of pick apart the performance aspect of it, the pausing, and maybe it wasn't, all those things. But in terms of what he wanted to say in his material, I felt like it was way more calculated than maybe we all think. And he almost went into it like with more of an agenda of something he needed to get off his chest, which I mean, like, is that the best way to come into battle with Diz? Maybe not. But to some degree, I understand it. You know what I mean? Like, not to say he went on a kamikaze mission, but, he maybe was like, yo, regardless of how this battle comes out and how it's received, these are the things that I need to convey. And that's exactly why I took Diz, because I know it with all the eyes. You know
I get that. I've done that. I've done that, and I get it. I get it. But I know 100% that he was totally not happy with that. He was very upset about it. Like
understandable.
Really not cool with it. Like really, I won't say ashamed, but he wasn't happy with it. So,
yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe he knew, and maybe he did what he had to do. But like, coming from someone who's based on performance and like all that type of stuff, I think that. I shouldn't say it's sad to watch, but from someone that had such high expectations, the whole world was like, oh, this is going to be so crazy and charismatic and well-rounded, and really he just kind of stood there and was like, Diz, and I don't mean to put him down because I care about everyone. I don't know him. Yeah. I called him not too long ago.
Yeah, when he said you had the code for the N-bomb, you had the launch codes for the N-bomb. See, he just needed like maybe 100 or 150 more of those, and it would have completely. When he said that, the room and even me at home, I was like, "That, there you go, soul, right? There you go, so like." And then I backtrack a little bit to what you were saying about how content-wise he's in a better place, and he doesn't use certain vernacular when he's battling now, right? So I mean, I want to add a bit onto that. Like, how do I put it? Like, I think that even though that's like a worthwhile topic to bring up, I mean, I feel like that's at this point of battling, I feel like that's like almost like, it could be a water under the bridge. You can like not even mention type of thing. Because if we're talking style clashes, man, I've seen so many battles where on paper you may be like, whoa, what is this? But then when the battle actually happens, you're like, you know what I mean? So for example, switching gears just a little bit, right? I know that you weren't trying to go in this way, but I'm naturally just thinking about it. You look at the guys, right, that are, and I don't know if it was branding. I don't think it's branding. I think these guys really, really have conviction with their platforms. But I'm talking about brothers like Loso, Saga, A-Ward, right? So, and Street Hymns. I think he's also part of them, right? And then I think even there's like a new guy that joined. But point being, so to the collective, everyone's like, yo, that's the Horsemen, the Christian, the battlers now, right? So I know that that's something people have brought up to me too, which is, because I don't want to dive too heavy into it here because our time is precious and I want to cover as much as possible. But for me, my faith journey, I'll call it that, right, was maybe like in the last 5 years or so, 5 to 7 years that it kicked into high gear. Kicked in, and all I mean by kicked into high gear is that, it just shifted my perspective. You know what I mean? To put it in a non-religious Kenneth Copeland, the breath of God, right? Like,
it's okay. Hey, I'm with you.
I'm talking about real, practical, life-changing, perspective-changing, and just to clarify, I don't have the answers. People still now, they to this day that are like, yo, Jen, so why this? Why that? Why would God this? Why would God that? Why is Jesus this? I don't have all the answers. The only thing I can tell you is I know what my faith journey has done for me, right? So I say that all to transition into as it pertains to battling. People have said, yo, Jen, you can come with that, right? Like, meaning they're always referenced. Like, you see the guys like Loso and A-Ward in them, and I'll take my hat off to those fellas, because at the end of the day, these guys are on these cards that they're on right now and getting these matchups that they're on right now because they're nasty with it. The message is their message, and that's that's to them how they present it. Because even some people nitpick about it like that too. Like, to some people, the idea of a Christian guy battling at a URL event is an oxymoron already. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it can be like a very convoluted thing, but my thing is, I salute those guys because all I'm looking at is their skill, right? Well, beyond the skill, I'm looking at their heart, right? And I can tell their heart really is, they have their beliefs and their convictions, but then on top of that, they're not just trying to be Christian battle rappers, which is the key. Like you said earlier about, like, why would you even aim to be on the Asian battle rapper Mount Rushmore? I agree. Well, that shouldn't be the aim. But my point is, if there is one, damn it, they better have me on there. That's all I'm saying. You know, if there is one. But like I'm saying, that's not the aim. So for guys like A-Ward and them, I can tell that, their beliefs are very, like, are the core of them. But you better believe that along with their beliefs, when they write and when they come out and they do their thing, is crowd shakers, haymakers, all of that.
But the only difference is, and we don't gotta stay on it though, because we all believe in God. I mean, most of us do. Like in the hip hop culture community, we believe in God. Like, you don't go into a hip hop show and a bunch of atheists like, fuck God, man, represent the devil. We all believe in God.
Some of them are there though.
Yeah, but like for SoulCon, be like, a woman's activist, like against all the shit that hip hop is like, bitch, suck my dick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to get into another question, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me about the environment of Fight Club.
Oh, okay. So I gotta be honest, my Fight Club experiences weren't the prettiest, but I wouldn't trade them because I think, I actually pride myself on one thing. I would think that I'm in a small handful of people that have these certain different platforms under their resume. Not to say that, I did a bunch here, a bunch there, but I'm proud to say I touched all of these, right? So if we say 106, right, which isn't necessarily like, so 106 is kind of like, it's revered in terms of like, it was one of the earlier big platforms. But between me and you, we know 106 is not where the real sharks are. You know what I mean? Like honestly, winning on 106 isn't like, within the battle community, it's not like, I'm a 106 champ. We know that, right? But to the general public, it is, right? So I'm just saying, like, I look back on it and it's like, I navigated through the 106, but before the 106, I mean, for lack of better words, I'm proud of the fact that I made my rounds, right? I made my way down to Scribble Jam, probably, grinded my way through the first 3-4 brackets. And I don't think I got anywhere beyond the semifinals, but I experienced Scribble Jam. You know what I mean? I'm there. I'm looking at the Mac Lethals and the ADMs and, these guys that I was watching and downloading their battles on, me watching them. So that, and then, I mean, technically, I did one Smack battle before there were events, right? I did a Smack DVD battle. And I think it totally caught me off guard that off of that one, people were left with such an impression that they have this idea that, Jen, you used to battle on Smack a lot. When truth be told, it was just that one. But it's enough that when people see me now, they're like, when you going back to Smack, right? Like, and to me, it's just like, I get what they're saying, but the connotation implies that, I was there with Charlie Clips and Hollow and Boom, because those guys were really in the thick of it. But Fight Club, right? So I say all of that to say Fight Club was definitely something that, in hindsight, at the time, it was a challenging thing to navigate because, the two fight, I did 4 Fight Club battles. Like, meaning I did 4 battles that were under the Fight Club umbrella. 2 of them were like amazing because 2 of them were like tournament style, the Mix Show Power Summit. So that's the one where it's like 50,000 grand prize and, a Chevrolet Cobalt, right? And at the time, I was like, I'm gonna take that Chevy Cobalt, and hey, but so those 2 I won, which was great. I mean,
you won the Chevy?
I won the Chevy Cobalt, and each tournament for $50K each one. You know what I mean? And let me pat myself on the back for that because I think there was a point in time where I lost sight of that too. In fact, at one point, because I won those 2 battles, I kind of started going by this moniker, 100 Grand Gin, and that's where that came from. Like, I was releasing tracks under this title, 100 Grand Gin, because I was like, 2 battles, 100K. And I know that's nothing now. I know, Pat Stay, you get 150 for one.
Hell no. Hell no. That's big. That's big as fuck, man. That's big as fuck.
But I'm saying, so out of the 4 Fight Club entity related battles that I did, those were 2 of them. The other 2 were, I mean, there's no way to go around it, were probably the 2 biggest and impactful, both in career and on a personal level, L's that I've ever took. First one being the Serious Jones one. So that's a Fight Club battle. And then the second one was Solomon, right? Yeah. So, so once upon a time, it would have, I wouldn't have been like, yo, Pat, don't talk about it. You know what I mean? But I definitely would have had to, like grip my teeth as I'm talking to you about it, and internally feel like all tormented as I'm talking to you about it, even if I don't show it on my face once upon a time. But now it's weird, man. I almost feel like those are my prized possessions, those 2 L's right there, because I think it was a process to kind of recover and find my way through it, right? But I learned so much from those 2 experiences. So I'll start with the Serious Jones one. So I think one interesting thing about the Serious Jones one is that was my first Fight Club battle ever. So I knew a Fight Club, right? I knew of this place where there's the pool table, one guy on each side, and all the people are standing in this crowded room, drinking, smoking, and there's judges, and then you battle. And I knew that, at any moment, someone could be like, I want to battle him, and then you just got to do it. So in that case, I knew I was going to battle Serious. So it wasn't like it just popped off out of nowhere. But I totally, I mean, the only word I can think of, I totally slept on and underestimated him. Like I didn't take it as serious as I should. No pun intended there. I didn't take it as serious as I should have, by no means. Like, I had my little pre-gaming, like, okay, his name is Serious Jones. I can probably do a little name flip here, and and that's there. But I definitely wasn't like, I wasn't watching the game tapes. I wasn't like, who is this guy? How many has he won? Da 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 da. So Serious comes in cooking. I mean, to his credit, he was like on a winning streak there already, and he had his signature style at that time, which is still kind of in his repertoire now. But I even think he's evolved too, right? Because he's pretty active in recent years. But even if you watch him, shout out to Jones, if you watch his recent years, you still see the core of what he was 10 years ago, which is when I battled him. I battled him in like 05, I think. This is like after the Rough Rider album dropping, which is another thing that people always kind of like, they speculate about too, which is like, why were you even still battling after getting signed? And I think in my own mind, I just felt like, I love battling, you know what I mean? And then I'm gonna do it. And so when I went there, he was cooking, and the thing is, he wasn't like saying anything that was particularly groundbreaking or clever. That's kind of my little, that's my 2 cents. But the way he was saying it, crushed every line. You know what I mean?
It's a sarcasm thing. It's like
sarcasm.
Alpha male.
His simplicity in it. You know what I mean? His simplicity in it. And I think the other thing I overlooked on that battle was, for some odd reason, out of all the battles that they've ever done on Fight Club, that was the one that suddenly Fight Club decides to cut a deal with MTV2. So not the main MTV, but you know how they got like a MTV2 with the 2 behind it, MTV2?
Yes.
Okay. So out of all the battles ever, they decide that this is the battle we are going to air on MTV2 nonstop in heavy rotation, like a damn music video. Like a Ja Rule featuring a Shanti track. They had that battle on loop 3 times an hour, Monday through Saturday, Sunday after church. Like, they just had that battle on loop, and people was just like, "Oh man, it's over for Jin." And this guy said, "I'm looking in the comments too. I like doing every now." Shout out to Thesaurus, 2-time guy. I got shout him out twice. Shout out to Thesaurus, because he's 2 times everything.
Oh yeah. Listen, the goat, the god, man.
How about the guy that's like, Jin, your answers are too long? That's my thing.
Yo, tell me, has my audio been in and out, or has it been fine the whole time?
Perfect. But yeah, but just to kind of like put a cap on it, I got like about another 5 minutes, and I'm gonna log off. But yeah, so the Serious Jones was one experience, and then following that, I also battled Solomon. That was on Fight Club too. Now that one they didn't air on, that one wasn't like it wasn't as intense as far as like getting aired on TV again and again and again. But that battle was also an eye opener because I had heard it. I was familiar with Solomon at the time, but once again, I don't think I don't think I took it. I don't want to say I didn't take it serious, but I relied on my written. I relied on my off the top too much there. Whereas if there was ever a time to really dive into it, I'm back. If there was ever a time to dive into the writing bag, it was against Solomon. For sure.
Thesaurus learned that too. Thesaurus learned that against Solomon too.
I think a lot of people learned that against Solomon. Like, cause that was a weird time. Like this time that I'm talking about, when I was battling him or Sirius, it was this period where there was starting to become that kind of transition. Like I said earlier, going from mostly freestyle with some writtens into the other way around, which is mostly writtens with some freestyle.
Somebody just asked in the comments. They say, "Yo, Pat, how many? Oh shit! It just gave me 26 seconds left. I gotta log off anyway, man.
Okay.
Yo, check it. Tomorrow we got Sharon and King Los, man. So I know you're gonna watch that. As a freestyler, you gotta watch that. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
God bless you, man.
Much love, man. God bless you too. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, what a great.